Yes guys, what's going on? Hashtag Short here. Welcome back to another video on the channel, and here today, ladies and gents, we are back with yet another custom tactics video. First of all, in this video, boys, I just want to say a big apologies. I'm doing another custom tactics video very shortly after my previous one. Now, currently my editor is away, boys, so yeah, I'm struggling in terms of balancing all the streaming, pro content, and pro player games, etc. But he'll be back very soon. So for now, we're doing another custom tactics video. However, it does come at a very, very good time. So we just had the ePremier League Grand Finals finish last weekend, ladies and gents. Obviously, not the greatest result for us. But at the start of this video, I wanted to give a massive shout out to Damie, and also Goal Poacher as well, who won the tournament as Norwich. Absolute big shout out to them, boys. But mainly this video is focused around Damie's 3-5-2 custom tactics, which is what I'm going to be showing you guys today, because honestly, Damie's found something in this game which has literally changed the game completely. Now, there's another pro player, Painter, as well. Big shout out to the big man, Tom Painter, as well, who kind of like discovered this 3-5-2 type thing. Damie took it to this event, boys, and honestly, it just created an absolute madness. I'll be honest. I played against Damie during this tournament as we played him in the groups. Let's just say, boys, I was 6-0 down. It did finish 6-2, but, you know, nothing good there, let's be honest. I got absolutely battered. One of the biggest batterings I've ever had at a tournament for a player. And that's why we're going to go into these custom tactics in this video. If you guys do enjoy it, drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. We're on that push for 100k, boys. So anyone not subbed, if you could sub, it'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, of course, big shout out to Damie, boys. I'll leave his YouTube link in the description down below, and also a link to his video where he literally did these custom tactics for you guys as well. And without further ado, ladies and gents, let's jump onto the team screen and get into custom tactics. Okay, boys, so quickly starting off, this is the team I've got going on at the moment. I mean, we don't really need to tuck into this too much. To be honest, boys, pro team wise, I'm a little bit behind, let's be honest. This man, Declan Rice, what a player in real life, but he needs to go. And so does this left back. Anyway, you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here for the custom tactics. So we'll quickly, boys, just jump into it. And there's a few things to speak about with these custom tactics. But before we just jump into the 3-5-2, obviously, as you guys know from our previous custom tactics videos, we've got 4-1-2-1-2 in brackets 2. That's one of my main formations to use. Of course, the 4-2-2-2 with constant press is what I like to switch to if I'm a goal or two down, etc. And then, of course, the 4-4-2 is my normal, balanced formation that I tend to use on a normal day at the moment in the pro scene. However, boys, this 3-5-2 has completely changed the game, right? What Damie did with this formation at this tournament was nothing short of spectacular, I'll be honest. He basically didn't lose a leg. I don't think he did, to be honest. He played absolutely amazing throughout the tournament, and obviously I felt what it was like to play against someone that good using this formation as well. Now, interesting, boys, a 3-5-2. So going into the start of it, of course, we've got the defensive style as balanced. Now, I'm interested by a lot of these things, boys, and one thing I've noticed about Damie's custom tactics here is that, like, he hasn't really changed too much stuff. Like, it's not the craziest thing in the world in terms of there's not loads of secret stuff added into these custom tactics along with the formation. I think the formation in itself is the big catalyst to the change that we see in game, because obviously, guys, we're really used to in FIFA having, you know, we had 5-back be meta last year, like, quite consistently as well, especially with all, you know, the fullbacks at centre back, etc, etc. It created loads of them 5-back teams. And then, of course, this year, you know, we've had 4-4-2 be really popular, and then, of course, the 4-1-2-1-2, which we've seen come into light in the last couple of months, be absolutely amazing and one of the most dominant formations. You know, my teammate Stokes, for example, who I'll say one of the best players in the world, has been using 4-1-2-1-2 for a long, long time. There's been a lot of success with them formations, but we've never seen a 3-back come into play. And this man obviously won the tournament with it, boys. So anyway, you know, I just thought I'd get that all out there. But yeah, the width on 42, quite a random number here, I'll be honest, but you know, that's what Damie's using, so I thought I'd showcase that to you guys. And of course, I have tried these custom tactics out myself, boys, and I'm certainly not used to a 3-5-2 yet, but Jesus Christ, you have got a lot of options, that's for absolute sure. And the depth on 62 here as well, which is interesting. Now, obviously, guys, a lot of you would have seen that last year, for example, with the depth, if you had it 70 or above, your team would do like this auto offside trap almost, like it would literally bring your team high up the pitch loads. But obviously on this game, your team just sits deep no matter what. And I'm sure they tried to patch that and tried to change it a little bit. But yeah, I'm sure some of you guys would notice, like, if your opponent is like playing with his centre midfielders and like building up on the edge of the box, you know, passing between their CMs, trying to find that pass into the striker, I'm sure you guys will notice that your team will just drop back into your half. Like, literally, your team will just drop back into your box, like deep, deep into your box. And there's just nothing you can do about it in this game. So 62 depth, I mean, you know, you still want the depth on a decent amount, but yeah, your team drops back regardless in this game. So it's really, really weird. And that's just one of them things, ladies and gents. Now, into the offense, of course, we've got some balanced attacking. And like I said, this formation, this tactics, boys, it's very, very balanced. This is what Damie says as well about the formation. And as you guys know, with my main formation, I also have things quite balanced on my 4-4-2. You know, I literally have balanced build-up play and balanced defensive style as well on my 4-4-2. And I do advise it to you guys a lot to try and work off balance as much as possible. I mean, it just depends whether, you know, you're strong defensively, strong in attacking, that you might change that, etc. But obviously what we know the main difference is this direct passing. Now boys, obviously direct passing has been one of the main things this year that's come into the game and changed the game. Now, one thing that's crazy about the direct passing, and I think it worked amazing with Damie's 3-5-2, is like a lot of the goals I conceded to Damie was what he would do is, and we'll get into this more as we get into the formation, but he would run out wide with his left mid and right mid, right? And bomb up the pitch with them. And these act almost as like fullbacks, you know what I mean? Like they can get forward, but then there's comeback on defense on them as well, which we'll get into later in the video. And they also drop back with you as well, so it adds a big dimension to it. But yeah, a lot of Damie's goals he would score against me was like he'd get it into his winger, he'd find a pass into the striker's feet, but he wouldn't be at a good angle. You know, he wouldn't be at an angle to shoot because it's come from out wide, right? But then he's got them options in the box with his cam and his other striker, etc. And maybe even some CMs who he's triggered into the box. And he would just, you know, pass it down the box again, you know, extra passes. Obviously, that's one thing that's really important for you guys to try and implement into your game is extra passes in the box. You know, not always looking to shoot every time you get it into your striker's feet. If you can do that extra pass, you give yourself a higher percentage of chance of scoring. But yeah, Damie just kept scoring like that against me. No matter how much I try and mark the passes in the box, he'd pass down in the box and score, you know, kind of an open goal-ish type thing, if you guys know what I'm saying. And the direct passing, I really feel like contributed to this as well in the game. And then as well for the rest of the offense, boys, we got 50 width, the players in box on 5, corners on 2, and free kicks on 3. Obviously, again, we're still talking about extremely balanced stuff here. So that's it for the tactics side, boys. Obviously, the formation here, that's how I line it up in game, lads. But I mean, you know, you could change it however you want. Obviously, it's quite important that if you were going to use the 3-5-2 guys, to like have it in mind what you're going to do with your wingers as well, because obviously I've got Mbappe and Hakimi right now. However, I do plan to change that a little bit if I do end up using this as my main formation. You know, we've got another big tournament coming up in the next 2 weeks or so. You obviously want your left mid and right mid to be quite versatile players. You know, for example, a great player would be like Team of the Year Cancelo, for example. You know, he can do it all. He can defend, he can attack. It's just absolutely fantastic. But like I said, guys, they act kind of as fullbacks as well as they do left mids and right midfielders as well, as I mentioned, with the fact that the left mid and right mid are going to be on comeback on defense. Now, I found it absolutely amazing when I looked at Damie's tactics here, seeing how little he had done to the team in terms of, you know, for example, in my main one, boys, I always use get in behind, and I always advise you guys get in behind. But with Damie's stuff, he's literally got mixed attack on the attackers, you know, literally not touch them. Same with Sancho. And then the only change on Messi is stay forward. So on the camp, stay forward, which I can see a lot of logic to be honest, because you do have a lot of defensive stability, especially when the left mid and right mid are started bombing it back for you with that comeback on defense feature on. And then obviously giving yourself the cam staying forward, it means that if you do win the ball back quickly and you need to counter attack quick, you've got that cam there ready to, you know, ping off passes. And obviously what better man for myself to have there than Messi, etc. But of course, the most important thing that we spoke about already, come back on defense on the left mid and come back on defense on the right mid as well. It just worked amazing for Damie, to be honest, and it did catch all of us players at the event off our guards, you know what I mean? It was literally there, like, I was thinking, what the hell am I playing against here? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was such a weird one. Now obviously I do think there's going to be formations that are able to counter this, or maybe even just like, you know, stand it, you know, not get dominated by it, etc. But it still is really interesting. Now on the centre midfielders as well, boys, that's literally all untouched as well. And then the centre backs, the same thing, which is actually kind of crazy. I'll be honest, it is absolutely mental stuff from Damie that he's barely changed anything with this formation. I really do believe that it's the 3-5-2 that has just added a complete different dimension to the game. And one thing that's really interesting about it is it's actually lined up as quite a central formation in terms of like the core of it. And then you just have both the players on the left mid and the right mid just absolutely bombing it up and down. They just give you that extra option. Do you know what I mean, guys? Because obviously we can create a lot, even with what you look at in the middle of the screen, you know. In a 4-1-2-1-2, for example, you've got that kind of diamond shape that's going on here, but you give yourself them wingers as well that are an extra outlet out wide. So say someone is using 4-1-2-1-2, this is an amazing formation to counter them with, because you can attack through the middle, and then if it's too jammed in there and it's too, you know, clogged up, etc. I don't know, I'm sounding like I'm talking about bloody a washing machine, right? I don't know how I've mentioned a bloody washing machine. Like pipes, I don't know. Jesus Christ, I have gone off on a tangent there. You guys know what I'm saying. You've always got that option out wide in the attack. And obviously, come back on defense on them is absolutely fine, guys, because obviously you can literally, how many times have I said obviously in this video, you can just trigger them forward, you know, using L1, etc., or LB as on Xbox, and you give yourself an amazing custom tactics. But that finishes off the 3-5-2, boys. Once again, a big shout out to Damie. Like I said, his link is in the description down below, boys. Make sure to check him out. An absolute top pro player. And yeah, this formation, let me just tell you guys, I normally feel very good at this game. That formation made me feel extremely strange, I'll be honest. Playing on the main stage, playing against this was just absolutely horrible, I'll be honest. And I'm sure every other pro that played against this at the event would say the exact same thing. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to drop a like and also subscribe to the channel, guys. Once again, a big apologies for the lack of uploads recently. My editor is still currently away, but once he's back, we're going to get the videos absolutely pumping out once again. That's absolutely promised to you fellas. And of course, we've got Team of the Season coming around the corner in not too long as well, lads, where we're going to get the Tots to Glory absolutely flying off the gaff once again. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you all on the next one.